the craziness and the pure adrenaline rush that everyone got from the free agency period this year was almost like no other. There are a lot of guys signed for tons of money. Teams that were disappointed, or team fan bases were disappointed, particularly the Ravens, with lack of splash free agency signings other than Marcus Williams. There are some teams that made splash free agency signings. There's guys that are still out there that would be a splash if you ask me. There's young guys that are out there. Stephon Gilmore obviously is not one of the young guys, but man, if you watch the film of him, you see a guy who can still play as of 2021 regular season. Of course, he only played, I think, 8 games for Carolina, but he made the Pro Bowl. Unless I looked at the data wrong, that was his 5th Pro Bowl. I think he made 1 with the Bills, 3 with the Patriots. Remarkably, didn't make the Pro Bowl 1 year with the Patriots, and then made 1 last year in 8 games with Carolina. He's a stud in man coverage. He's lights out. Now, I will show you a particular type of receiver that he seemed to have difficulty with late in the season when he did get injured against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But let's look at him in some man coverage situations. A little sail route by the number 1 receiver up there. He understands leverage in mid-play spectacularly. He does this consistently, takes the outside leverage because he understands he's got free safety help there in the middle of the field, stays on the outside hip, because he knows there's nowhere for the quarterback to deliver the football. Now, the quarterback is under duress back here, but he's not the point of the video right now. Stephon Gilmore is in great leverage side, with a quick receiver there, number 11 for Washington. I don't even know his name, to be honest with you. All right, so let's look at Atlanta. The first game where I think he played, I think there was a 2-week stretch where he played every snap on defense for Carolina as he worked his way into a starting role. And then he got injured in the Bucs game late in the season. But look, he wiped out Kyle Pitts for Atlanta. Now, that's a pass interference penalty, but the physicality that he maintains I think his best matchups are with tight ends and bigger receivers. And I only have a limited, limited amount of film to go off of with that in terms of 5 games that I watched, and really only 4 that I'm going to give you film from. I think he matches up better at this point in the slot against the bigger, more physical guys. Against Kyle Pitts again. And this is not easy. It looks easy. There's a sack here, but that's not the point of this video. This looks easy. It's not. It's a bunch set. You got 3 receivers here. And they're playing man. So he's man on Pitts. You got a guy man on the point man. And man here. So this is man free. With the free safety here in the middle of the field free. And he's able to sift through this and get through all this trash without being picked. He's just smooth. He's just smooth. Not that there was an actual huge attempt by either one of those other 2 receivers to pick him or screen him, but he's just spectacular in coverage. This is a 3rd down situation, again, against Kyle Pitts. Out route, beautiful play. Beautiful coverage, if you ask me. I slowed it down so you could see some of the hand fighting, how physical he is. Would he pick up penalties? Yeah, he probably would. But you can play man with this guy, and you can really take someone out of the game. Or you can make a receiver have to work awful damn hard, play after play, to get open. He's a great man cover corner still, if you ask me. I think he's 31 or 32. There's Pitts. You can't see Gilmore. He's off screen here right now. I think he's got outside leverage. But there's Pitts, right-hand side of the screen. You can see the contact that's there and how he's stuck to the hip and stops him short on a 3rd and 3. Beautiful coverage. Again, against Pitts in the slot, man, stays in contact with him and then understands the route. He has to have great film study or just great awareness from years of playing a high-level defense in New England, and even prior to that, playing great in Buffalo. Undercuts for the interception. A wonderful play against, a rookie tight end with a great reputation who maybe wasn't as dominant. I think Pitts only had 2 touchdowns last season, if memory serves, but look how connected to him Gilmore is. Pitts is still a talented guy, right? And he's young. I think he's 8 or 9 years younger than Stephon Gilmore. Gilmore still has the goods. Man, he's awesome. Check this out. When he went to New England and they played, or excuse me, when they 1 play ahead, my bad. He's physical against tight ends. I was ahead of myself, my bad. This is a 4th down play, bunch formation again. Now somebody's out for Carolina. So instead of him being in the slot where he was before guarding the inside guy, he's now manned up on what ends up being, I think, this tight end on this little leveled out that he runs. Physical. Just physical. Now, this guy's wide open because they match up in a weird manner with this bunch formation. But that's not the point of this video. The point is Stephon Gilmore is not scared to be physical at all. He's not scared not to match up with bigger tight ends. I think at this point in his career, he might be a guy who could be a shutdown slot corner when playing man. Now, here he is playing man, press man as an outside corner and does a great job, if you ask me, in coverage on this X receiver to the top side. Might be Pitts there, but I didn't think it was. We kind of zoomed out there. I was a little ahead of myself a moment ago talking about them playing New England. That game was in Carolina. Here's the only time he was targeted by New England. Once. One time, Mac Jones and Belichick and McDaniels targeted him. Pretty amazing, if you ask me, how he plays this. Beautiful. He understands that it's a pick-rub concept, and I actually think that pre-snap, I'm going to rewind this back a little bit, I think pre-snap, he knows something's up. Watch him hedge his feet over just a little bit. For whatever reason, he saw something and lined up just a little bit further inside, maybe only 4 inches inside. Boom. Beautiful. Dodges the rub by the number 3 receiver, which I think is Jonnu Smith, running the little fake shooter route. Actually, look, those guys did not do a great job on that rub concept. I'm not saying that the number 2 and number 3 receiver did, but Stephon Gilmore did a fantastic job there. At this point, I don't care who you are. If you're trying to win a Super Bowl, a guy like this could be the difference in terms of being able to guard people in the slot. Now, that last game that he played, I think week 16 against Tampa Bay in a loss, he went down with a hamstring injury, a non-contact hamstring injury, while trying to cover one of the tight ends. Might have been Gronkowski for Tampa Bay. Look, Antonio Brown was giving it to him. And you're going to see how special the feet of Antonio Brown are, and then some of the route running. I think this is a speed out down here. And it's borderline unfair, some of the ways that Brady is able to get the ball out there. I mean, there's a lot of separation there, obviously. Even before the injury, he didn't look like the same guy, but I think he's guarding someone with a little bit different build and speed and agility skill set in Antonio Brown. Maybe at this point in his career as an outside corner, he's not best suited to guard someone like an Antonio Brown. This is unfair. Brady gets back there at the top of his drop, right here, and then watch how Brown is able to catch this right on the sideline. I mean, this is obviously a lot of time spent, on the practice field with each other, and being in perfect timing. But what we're talking about here is Gilmore. Look at the difference in technique, the difference in coverage that they're playing. Both of the safety and Gilmore are getting off with his own turn. But he's got to be, this is essentially man. You got 2 receivers up here, and the only receiver down here to the bottom side of the screen is Antonio Brown. They've got a 6th offensive tackle on here. So regardless of whether you want to call it zone or man, it is man. It is man on that backside there. Huge amount of separation that obviously sticks out as an anomaly for the film that I'm showing you, and in my opinion sticks out as an anomaly for most of Stephon Gilmore's snaps last season with Carolina. It gets even worse for him in terms of this game. This time takes a man turn. Antonio Brown pushes off. Doesn't push off. He pushes the route as far vertical as you can push it on this 3rd and 13. And then brings it right back, stops his feet. Antonio Brown has amazing feet, just amazing feet. Regardless of what we want to say about anything else, he's got amazing feet. Now, that doesn't mean that Gilmore's not going to get the better of him on certain reps, and he did. There was at least 2. I'm going to show you one. This is similar to the first play I showed you, I believe. Gilmore is going to take initially, he's going to take outside leverage because he has free safety help right back here in the middle of the field. So he understands that. And he understands that Brown is probably just trying to bring him into the hash and then bring this route back out where there is no help. He's physical with him. He's getting hands on him. He's definitely making contact downfield. You have to do that sometimes. I'll give you the end zone angle of that play too. Let me know what you think. Am I saying that he can't guard guys like Antonio Brown at all? No, that's not what I'm saying. He did get hurt in this game, and maybe it was the week before. I think there was even some question about whether he was hurt or not. So maybe he was, and that's why we're seeing so much off coverage. But he was still able to make plays sometimes. You saw the stop right there on Antonio Brown. This time he's lined up to the two twins, meaning there's two guys lined up out here. Brown is the slot receiver, and then the outside guy, which appears to be a tight end, and there's nobody out here to help him. I mean, they could just throw a damn bubble out here right now to one of these guys and send the inside Brown out to block him, and they got the corner. They got the edge. So they're misaligned here, and even this linebacker drops out. He doesn't really get width in his drop. He just gets a little bit of depth. You can see Antonio Brown's pretty much open off the jump. And the tight end is too. But in any case, it's a third and 11, 12. Stephon Gilmore is able to come up and make the tackle. I like him. I think he'd be an interesting signing for the Ravens, for any team that's trying to contend in that crazy AFC, arms race. A guy who could guard people, who could give you some versatility in terms of how you're going to match up with people. I don't know what kind of salary structure he's looking for at age 31 or 32. I believe he's 32. He can't be looking for a whole hell of a lot of money, being as nobody's picked him up at this point. The last thing you would want is to see him go to someone like the Rams or the Chiefs. If you're a Ravens fan and you're watching this, you don't want to see him go to the Chiefs. You don't want to see him, Judon is apparently recruiting him to go back to the Patriots, which would be crazy. That wouldn't surprise me. Just one in a number of those guys who leaves the Patriots, and in some ways you see his production, his output, seemed to go downhill, but look, he's only been gone 1 year, and he made the Pro Bowl in 8 games. So clearly there was a lot of stuff on film. Prior to this game against Tampa Bay, nobody threw the damn ball at him. That's why, I have so little film in terms of showing you, I think I gave you film from 4 different games, I believe. And there's other games where, like the Patriots game, I watched like 55 snaps, and they targeted him once. There's 3 or 4 other plays I could have showed you that he was in real good coverage and the ball was thrown on the other side of the field, like that one I showed you against Washington. A lot of talent, very savvy, smart, still to me has great feet. Antonio Brown got into him a little bit, got him back on his heels numerous times. There is some thought that maybe he came into that game with some type of issue anyway, because I believe he was listed on the injury report the week before, and he himself didn't even know why. I paid attention to it a little bit because I noticed when he got thrown back in there those first 2 weeks against Atlanta and then New England, he got picks in the first 2 weeks that he played. So in any case, let me know what you think of my film study and how I'm talking about his coverage and what he's capable of doing at this age. 5-time Pro Bowler, I think 3-time All-Pro designation, and 1-time Defensive Player of the Year, which I think was 2019, if memory serves. Great player, great talent. Would fit in pretty much any scheme if you ask me. Let me know what you guys think of the film study in the comment section.